ดีค่ะ Welcome to the final part of my grilled steak series on Hot Thai Kitchen. So in the first part, we grilled a nice piece of steak, and in this part, we're going to serve it in a way that's called เสือร้องไห้ or the crying tiger. Now, that's basically the steak sliced and served with a dip called nam tim jao. There's many reasons, many stories behind why it's called the crying tiger, but the one that I think is the most probable is the tiger refers to the crosshatch grill mark of a grilled steak. And the crying refers to the fact that the steak is not cooked all the way, so it still has a little bit of juice running out as the tears of the tiger. But who knows what the real story is. So I've got the steak resting here since it just came off the grill. Meanwhile, we're going to make the dipping sauce called nam tim jao, which actually works with all sorts of grilled barbecued meats. So I've got here about a tablespoon and a half of thinly sliced shallots, okay, just like that. And to this, I'm going to add a tablespoon and a half of fish sauce, our salty component. And then we're going to go in with 1 tablespoon of lime juice. And then I'm going to add another source of acid, tamarind juice. I'm using the one that's pre-made today. And tamarind juice just adds a little bit of a body to the dipping sauce. It also has a little bit of a well-rounded acidity that balances the lime very well. All that. And then I've got about a tablespoon and a half of chopped palm sugar. And this one I actually finely grated it because it will dissolve quickly that way. Normally I do a palm sugar syrup, which you may have seen me use in other recipes, but you can also just grate it finely. And it'll dissolve faster. Give that a quick stir. Now, our spicy, source of spicy, some chili flakes, as much as you'd like. Okay. And then some herbs. I've got here roughly chopped cilantro and green onions, about a couple tablespoons of each. Some people like to add mint to this as well, so you can customize this to your personal liking. And then our final ingredient, our toasted rice powder. Now I've used this before in the nam tok recipe and also in my lap recipe. It's basically just toasted rice that's been ground up, but if you want to know how that's made, I have a separate tutorial just how to make toasted rice powder. And it'll add a nice toasty aroma to basically anything you add it to, but it's particularly nice when something is very acidic because the nuttiness of this will balance it out. So about 2 teaspoons of that. Give it a nice stir. You don't want to add the toasted rice powder too early. You want to add it closer to the time that it's served because otherwise it'll start to soak up the liquid and swell up and it won't be nice anymore. It'll be kind of gooey. Okay, so that's our dipping sauce. That's our nam tim jao. And again, that's great with barbecue chicken, all sorts of things. Next is our steak. I've grilled this. This is a flank steak. You want to slice it thinly, and I've grilled this medium. You want it to be pink in the middle so that it's not too chewy. Traditionally, they use the brisket for this, which is really chewy. You want to slice the beef against the direction of the grain because the shorter the fiber, the more tender the meat is. And it's not always going to run long ways. The grain sometimes runs the short way, so you have to pay attention. It's not very intuitive sometimes, especially for skirt steak. All right, so we're going to take this and put it on here. And always for nice presentation, you want to just shingle it a little bit so you can see the pinkness of the steak, of the beef, and fan it around the dressing. And this is, of course, great with sticky rice, like all things from the Northeast. There we go. And that's it. That is our เสือร้องไห้ It's a very simple dish, but absolutely delicious. And that concludes the series on grilled steaks. And for full recipes for all these, a full written recipe for all these recipes, you can visit hotthaikitchen.com. And I will see you next time for your next delicious Thai meal.